Good evening and welcome. It's 4:18 and I have about 35 to 40 minutes to speak about what I don't know. I mean, it's quite cold because of this fantastic cold. This guy is my best friend today. It's very humid. It's hot. And I'm happy because the France won, because that's how I went all through the morning. I was quiet, white, and suddenly I was speaking in my mother tongue. This is not my mother tongue. I'm just noises. But pretty much only noises came out. All the other things because there are a lot of kids and people sitting in front of me, and I cannot show any emotions like say something bad or something like that because. Everybody want to really say bad words at each other, but still a lot of heated debates about this that. It's always time. Just watch the World Cup soccer and France won. I really like that because I told contrary to what everybody believed it is because Croatia got a very pretty president. Many people supported Croatia because of the president. Even my own mother told me she supports Croatia, and I was like, okay. I had a vested interest in France winning because most of the people who are playing in the French team are immigrants, mostly from Africa. Mainly, I think 80 or 90% of their players are African American, or not American, African French, or French African, whatever you call it. They are of African origin or North African origin. A very very nice team, very young team, and very productive team. And they had a strategy when they were coming in. Let me have a quick check about this. Whether 90% of their players. So I am in my site. So what I should do here is go to my site, and there is a dashboard. I need to just quickly post this on to all scenarios out there. Ah, da, 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 da. So I will do that in between, when I can just post it. It's not a big deal. Let me quickly do that though. If somebody is coming from Facebook and want to watch it for reading, I'll be reciting a poem. I'm not going to be spending too much time talking about things that should not be taught. The edit button is on top. I don't know, these versions have differences, so the edit button is on top. Oops. Okay. So I have to update with did it took it? No, I have to update again. From uncategorized to move it to live shows. This guy gives me a revision, so okay, that's good. Okay, so that is done. And now what I'm going to do here is my dashboard, post and sharing. What post, dude? What post? Give me a second. Give me a second. Well, I'm telling myself, there's nobody there, or here, or anywhere to really watch it because I no longer do shows on. Now that is an interesting situation. So what we do is, that's a simple, not really really simple, but I will try to make it as simple as possible. Looks like it needs a picture. Now you will see me taking a selfie. Okay, I'm going to take a selfie. This chair is making really really weird noises. If I go suddenly down, you can see. Nobody actually seen me taking selfies. Okay, so I should look good. Okay, there you go. I need to set up a. See, look at that file. I literally spoke through it. I'll select this picture. Okay, it's done. Keep only one favorite. Then I gotta upload that picture somewhere. I don't know. I see blank. Can you see that? Everything is blank. There's nothing. Is there anything new? Really? That's what you want to do? Oh my god. It's not showing up at all. Okay. See? There are complications that can happen on the fly. Oh, I have like 20 applications on. Okay. Is this guy going to show up EIDs? Okay, let me. There you go. I gotta go and capture this from there and upload it into my website, and I will come back. See, this is all going on the fly. See, that's how it works when you don't have a lot of time. So, yeah, I look like crap anyway. That's a good song, you know. I used to sing that when I was very young. To be very honest with you, I used to sing very well when I was very young. Like in first grade, second grade, to about maybe fifth, sixth grade. Then I kind of lost my voice completely. You know, when I had a very nasal voice, and I used to sing. And I have even won a couple of prizes for that. So one of the songs when I was very young I used to sing is Mulla Pumpallelo Mukuti Kavelelo. Now I can't even sing it. You know, recently I was singing this song with a couple of my friends, and they don't understand my mother tongue. You know, all of them are from Spain. So I haven't seen these guys for like 7, 8 years. When I first moved into Milwaukee, they were here. Then they moved on. Then during Summerfest, they were here. So much fun, you know. They came, and one of the things, you know, my friend, she's very, very, very cute. I mean, she's now looking fantastically cute. Got 2 much more cuter kids. She got twins. So she's like, I want you to sing that song, and you know, this is what she goes out. Okay. No, 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 no. I was like, what is that? I was like, okay, what was the song I used to sing that I was actually singing? It's like it's an Indian song, so I started singing some Indian song, and you know, the kids were like looking at me, you know, for every time I'm actually speaking about a tune or music or something, these kids are like, you know, I'm going to eat them now, you know, that's what they're feeling. So it was so much fun. Eventually I said, she was like, that's it, that's the song. The kids immediately start going, ah! I said, that is the background music for it. There you go, there you have the background music for it. Yeah, they had really, really good fun. I mean, it was really nice for them to come over, because you know, I was pretty much alone. Now, what am I supposed to do, really? Okay. Yeah, I cannot sing that. You know, there's a female part to it, you know, which comes. When I was young, I used to sing both. You know, the female part and the male part together, you know. Now it's not uploading anything. Other than that, you know, everything. Well, okay, let me insert this. Okay, see the visual of it. Yeah. Okay, that is nice. Nice, very nicely done. Update. Other than that, nothing. You know, there is. I was supposed to go to Kansas for the final part of the graduation party for my niece. They had the party, I think, yesterday and today. I was not really supposed to. I thought I can on Thursday. Then I was trying to set up an interview for a job that didn't happen on Friday. Um, but I don't regret not going. We gave it our best shot, and the interview did not happen at all. It's not like that I did the interview and failed. That could have happened, from what I heard about the job, because the job was not a perfect match for my profile. So all those things were going on. Where is what? Okay. Let me see if the pictures are 1 second. All the guys watching, not live, even recording. Okay. Post and sharing. Because this should automatically go into my Facebook. It's not just Facebook. There's a whole lot of things I added here. Yeah, Facebook. I have my page on Facebook. I have my profile, normal profile on Facebook, WeContact, and Instagram. All those things simultaneously it will update. So here we go. Here we go. Ooh, share. I'll be right back, okay? Till that time, you may have to tolerate this song. Takes its due time, sweet time to actually process the whole thing and put it in social media. See, now it should be showing up in social media. That's the idea. And there's nothing happening. It's saying loading, loading, loading. Oh yeah, it loaded. It's done. It is done. Okay. Let me turn off my stat counter. Okay, enough with singing. Enough with bad singing. That's what what I'm doing here is trying to, I'm going to actually tell you a couple of poems. I hope I'll be able to show you both the poems very perfectly, because both are sitting in two different sources. What the idea was, where was I when I was actually talking about this? I had this week ended in a pretty mixed way. Yesterday, I thought I should go out. Then there is something interesting happened. By about noontime, or pretty much about that time, I am up and I'm running, and I'm really feeling good about my process of writing some stuff. Then something very, very simple, or recently I talked in one of my blogs, poems blogs, I talked about it. I think it's about the Lonely Lily poem, or I think it is something like that, one of those poems. I talked about these blogs, where I said, okay, I wrote that poem. I think it is Lonely Lily. I don't know. I don't think it's a different poem. I forgot the name of the poem. I forgot my name of my own poems. So what really was, I was writing a poem, a short story called Legend of the Peacock Feather, and a poem was built into it. The Legend of the Peacock Feather was written as a justification for a poem I'm writing, the short story. And there is a story. There's a magical figure that comes into that. I mean, it is it is something very well thought about. Basically, it is taken from a story which I have heard in my younger years. When I was very young, it's called The Monkey's Paw, or something like that, where it is called The Monkey's Paw, I think, about somebody who is actually visiting Egypt, and they take the monkey's paw, a mummified paw of a monkey, and then in the night the monkey comes alive, or something like that. But in the end, you'll just get a specific object, from that dream into real. This is what I've heard. So I written with the same idea because it goes through a dream of somebody, and when he wakes up from the dream and when he comes back into reality, there is an object from that dream coming into him. It's meant to be showing that the idea was, even in the poem and even in the story itself, the magical figure that comes and speaks to him in the dream, it happened in a dream, and there is a reality of it, right in front of him, which is leaving him clueless. I wrote this. This is a poem actually pretty much connected to the so-called Mokushla poems. I say it Mokushla. Mokushla means my darling. I called that to a girl. I mean, it was I actually don't really directly mention the names of girls I actually talk to or I like on my website. I don't tell them, because then it kind of exposes them. Many people have their own privacy rights and their own views about privacy. I have none of those. Just because I have none of those doesn't necessarily mean anybody else should not be. So said all that. I mean, I was very, very focused on that, right? Later, I kind of elaborated on that story a bit. I even thought I can make a much more elaborate version of it into maybe a short movie, or it's not even a movie. I mean, it's like a pretty good, lengthy movie. I don't know whether it is a full-fledged feature movie I can write, but I can write screenplays because I have learned to write screenplays too. So the short story long now it's not the long story short. I'm pretty much getting into a long talk right now. The short story long became a longer version, but there is a portion of this story that doesn't add up, because the original story, where his justification for his love for a girl, and then why that love is not working for him, is the other person's view. I mean, other person is saying you need to give the girl you are actually loving more space and time, so that she can figure herself out whether she likes you or not. So that is basically what I am saying in that, even though it's very chaotic. Because of my own inability to write prose at that time, which improved considerably in years that passed. Said all that. This one came and I elaborated from where it entered. It still got a problem. Okay? The characteristics of the girl who is involved in it is very, very, very real. And I even dropped the idea of writing it. Now I have got the idea that I'm going to go with that. I'm not going to change it. But the characteristics of the man or the person involved, which is pretty much initially representative of me, has changed considerably into a much bigger personality, much better personality than the original me, because the original me is absolutely nobody with nothing much, I can talk about other than writing poetry. So, and much older. See, when it, I should not have said that, but saying all that, it comes to a point where this character becomes a much more complicated one, where there was a catastrophe that happens to the girl, and that was his promise that whenever you fall, I will be there. And he was brought in there, even though he was not there. He was brought in there. Then he don't know what to do. He have this piece of feather, peacock feather earring in his hand. He kept it, but he's like, what am I supposed to do? This came out of a dream, and nobody can believe him. Nobody will believe. See, if I'm going to actually say, I got this stylus, I had a dream, and I came out of the dream, and when I woke up, I was using this stylus in the dream, and I never had this stylus, and all of a sudden, It is in front of me. Is there anybody going to believe it? They would say, everybody who's going to hear this will say, absolutely crazy. Well, that is the basic story. That is the basic story which I am actually writing. Okay. Then I went with, yesterday afternoon, I went to a much more, because he is totally stuck at a point where it's not a dream. It's not a dream at all. He's not sleeping. He's not, sitting in a place. He's walking in the middle of the crowd. There, that woman, the magical figure, is there. So I kind of from there, I was like, oh my goodness, I got it. I went because I know the ending of it. Okay, I'm not going to say the ending. I know the ending of it, but the magical figure should come back into the story, into his life. The magical figure can actually solve the problem he has, but there is a certain condition for those solutions. Even the magical figure don't have that connection. This all happened because I was writing another set of poems, which may take about a year to write, called The Murder of Dialmitair. You don't even know what is that, but I haven't told anybody anything about it. It's an out-of-the-world situation. Most of the things are absolutely imaginary, purely imaginary. It cannot be real. It cannot be real. But there are parts of it that happens on Earth, may be connected to some sort of reality, which haven't happened yet. Then you can imagine, there are weird things that are going around. So, murder of. When I was actually looking at that, then I said the magical figure, because in that the out of the world situations are pretty much magical. So I'm writing about the magical part of it, and when I say I'm writing, most of the things are going in here, so it gets really messed up there, and it comes out into papers, and down here it's all sitting there. Bunch of new papers are here. I have my cards, they are all here. So I'm working with all these things. I'm writing a new set of that. Then this one came. So I'm going to focus on that. That's the new part of the work. And somebody's actually sending, WhatsApp messages. Okay, good. I will check it later. Anyway, so this is where things are. I'm very happy. I'm about these developments. But on the other side, there were serious setbacks personally in my life. Things that I thought will happen did not happen. That happens. Setbacks comes in from one side, then solutions will come from another side. Maybe not the solutions for the setbacks. Probably the solutions for the setbacks will come at a later date. This happened the other way around too, because setbacks happens and the solution immediately I get. But at the same time, there are other things that's not setback that should be happening, will not get any solution. So it kind of goes up and down, but there is a balance somewhere, and that balance is where my sanity is. Okay, as long as I'm staying sane, as long as I'm speaking, as long as I'm writing, that means there is a balance out there. I may not clearly be able to explain that balance, but it's there. I don't have to go and get it because I have it. Now let's come to the poem. The first poem I'm going to actually present. Oh, see? Oh. What's up, my man? Okay. There's one of my friends sending me big emails. I know that email will be very big. What am I supposed to do? Oh yeah, I'm supposed to show you a poem. Okay, here prayer. This is a poem which I thought I should be writing, So let me bring this up and try to show you. Window capture. Okay, I need to capture that window. Well, there is a problem. know how do I fix this. Oh, okay, okay, I know how to do that. Because the font is too big. I might have to reduce the size of this font, that will solve my issue. Oh, still didn't really solve the problem. You will be able to read it. I adjusted the font size a bit. You know, I hate to sit quiet, but you know, this is my show, and I'm not obliged to keep on speaking. And I'm not, you know, sitting in some other side. Okay, so it's my side, it's my show. Whatever that I come to my mind, that's what I'm going to say. Okay, here comes the poem, and I'm going to read it out to you. Transit. Okay, the name of the poem, you know, it is there on LonelyPoet.com. The name of the poem is Her Prayer. The night shook away the last of the light, and darkness even into the depths of soul unraveled. Wilder and wicked souls found ways through the dark, and the milder and soft souls in fear of the unknown shook. Clouds with the pollution of brutal mankind rolled up muscles. Oh, mankind know not that the gift of life blends into the nature. Still greed, and the greed on greed makes mankind unkind. Nature waits with an arsenal of calamities filled with vengeance. Men and women who were born with crying mouths and hunger, their hunger now with lust and luxury filled in the mockery of their meaning none but the divine knows. Still they construct what the divine created and claims creativity. Into the depths of it all, the sinister ramblings of the one everyone knows, but everyone thinks they defeated that one with everything they can. The good of you he eradicated, the bad of you he owns, and the deviance from the godly into your soul he always murmured. I wandered through my meditations through the dark. I defeated none. I was not defeated by anyone. Still no fear entered my soul, as with emptiness it suffocated. And then the morning woke far, bleeding the darkness of night. Fires of the east, chariots of the sun, poets called mornings. Still beside the giggling stream I saw the might of creation, and bowed I before that might, the might of the Almighty. Then in the depth of my soul I felt the might of love. Away from me she may be, still she left a prayer for my happy day. That is point number one, and I'm going to come to the next poem, which is going to be posted in a little later in LonelyPoet.com. So some people may actually see the poem here. It is already there. It is already, this poem is already there in Zanga.com. It was there in Poetry Box. I remember the Poetry Box had a page of its own. That page was removed. Not removed, it is deactivated. At that time, I think I posted this. What was this about? I don't know whether I'll be able to show this in my capture. This is called Forgotten Tunes. Yeah, let me grab this. I don't know whether this will show up right. Yeah, I thought so. Ah, ah, it looks horrible. I'm screwed up here. Okay, honestly, sincerely. Oh my God, now it shows up like something else. Okay, I hope this is better than the first one. Let me adjust the spacing a bit and single, make it proportional 100% of it. And I need to reduce the size of this so that I can see both. And I need to recapture this. See, technology can be good, but at the same time, it can, create mess for you. Okay. Before we go into the poem, I'm going to say something different than the poem. You see, this is about writing again. Like I just said, I'm actually working on prose and prose connected poetry. It takes a lot of time, to actually go through this because the ideas keeps on evolving, like I said, and there are many details that are, not filled in yet. I always rely on some sort of a realistic information, which is not really good. I mean, it's not the best of the attitude I can actually, have, or any writer can have. But maybe it is my ethics that I have to write it based on some sort of a realistic event. Say, for example, I'm actually meeting a person, or I'm actually making food, or cooking food, things like that. I take simple live, day-to-day events, from my real life, and then bring it into my poetry. Long time back, Sam Nolte actually told me the same thing. You take simple day-to-day things and and make it into poetry. How do you come up with these ideas? That's what I told. Oh my God. Okay, I said something which I should not have said, but I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I should. But it's said. But I'm not going to repeat it. Okay. The reason is, I take the real life event. I'm going to once more explain to you. I'm taking a real life event, and then I go through a process of making that real life event into something I call a dream. Something many people call, it's like a hypothetical scenarios, multiple of them, and then work through that and blend these things together. And that is the one I'm actually going to use it as the context for the real context for the poem. So, but I write down the original part very clearly. This is a reality, and this is eventually becoming the poem. So this, you have one piece and another piece which is virtual, which is not written down in words. That process is here. Sometimes I do, but even if I do, I just destroy it. It cannot be. It's just useless, because if I try to go through that again and again and again, it only messes me up. So, it's not me up, messes the actual work up. So then I write the poem. For this particular poem, which is coming up, the reality behind this is a fantastic failure. I'm laughing at it. It's not a very bad failure. It is a joking failure, and I'm going to show you what was that failure. Okay, you can see it in this frame. In this frame itself, that failure. Can you see that? It's not this thing. I'm pointing towards a guitar that is sitting there. I bought that guitar, because me and one of my friends, she is in Israel, and her boyfriend is actually her fiance at that time. Now she's her husband. They live in Switzerland right now, not in Israel. So they were I haven't had any communication with them for a while now. But at that time, that guy said you need to do something different, like play an instrument. I said I never played an instrument. He's like, why don't you get the guitar? The cheapest instrument you can get is a guitar. You pay for $100 or $200 and you can get a guitar and strumming on it. Just play and go to online. You can get these tabs and chords and things like that and try to play that. Long time back in India I tried. I said like, okay, I don't play guitar. I tried at that time. I don't even know how to tune this, but I bought that guitar. And I started strumming on it. And it was an epic fail, but it is, his idea was good. His psychological idea was good because he need to put something in me that actually compete with my this process, of making this dream and trying to work through the dream and write that dream out. So there should be a competition. That was what he said. There should be a competition for that in your mind. So there should be a musical part that should be coming in that will help you to better these things. So it was a good idea, but that is the failure. This poem is based on that failure. That was the reality behind this is that. But the original context was I'm going to read it out. I don't have the time and space because I only have like 4 or 5 minutes right now. I'm going to actually go through this, but to the people who really know me and support the really, it's about, this was written sometime on May 14th. I was at work, and my boss actually came and said, okay, she need to do something else. So she don't have any assignments for me. I work as a contractor. I'm a technical business analyst working as a contractor in an insurance company. That's what I was doing at that time. So I was writing these requirements, and my boss needed to give me the assignment based on that requirements. So I wrote the requirements, gave it to her, and then she couldn't get back to me, and she said, okay, sit down, do whatever you want. So when I say my boss, her name was I cannot say that name because it connects to another name. It was in 2012, and that's all I'm going to say. Well, he did not go too far. Work in grinding hall. So that's what I was saying. I called myself at that time, right, you old ugly lazy bones. And by about 4:43 p.m. I started writing. By about 5:07 I posted the poem. That much time is what it took to write this, because this idea was in my head and I know exactly what I was doing. The different chords, like C, G, E, different chords. I was actually going through this, and otherwise I'm using this hand as like a guitar fret and I'm holding like this, I'm actually, I don't even remember anything right now because it's been a while now since I even tried to tune that guitar. If I touch the string, it may go because it's all rusted out. So so I was messing with my own hand as a fret, and then I was like, yeah, I wrote this. So I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to show it to you. So here we go. Let's bring it in. Okay. The name of the poem is called. Okay, let me see if I can actually show this. I may actually, jump when it comes to that. Forgotten Tunes. That's the name of the poem. Fingers pressed on the guitar fret, and from the burning mind floor, a tune strummed on the shiny strings, as night gathered around the weeping horizon. Standing on the melting ground, he saw nothing, heard only the tune he played. Somewhere in the depths of that mind hidden are some words that makes no sense. Everything is senseless, machinations fought, as nothing completed in fullness of in life. More wrath than any other emotions felt, but they all faded when her face in memory came. I know this is going to happen. Okay. Give me a red letter thing. I think I forgot to put a hyphen there. Okay. Oh, his love for her, her was like a plotless novel, or like the diary of a celibate priest. Only imaginations lived in life, living dreams and feelings that pierced him with wrath. From those feelings himself he relieved when he expressed the depth of his pain as broken tunes played and forgotten by a musician he never was. So pretty much you can see, the technical things that goes through. This is how my show is. Usually halfway through something will break down, or I will break it down. So yeah, that's how it always is. In between, I forgot to actually give enough space for it to scroll. So it all came down to that. So I'm going to wrap this, and I'm going to probably come back either later tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow. I may have some work to do tomorrow. I need to go and meet a couple of people. Then day after tomorrow probably I'll be here all day. By Thursday this is going to all change. I'm trying to make a 180-degree turn. I'm going to finish with that. Last year in September I have got my green card, or the legal permanent. I became a legal permanent resident in the United States. When I got that, I made a 180-degree turn, from almost everything. But I turned, and it's like a poem which I wrote in LonelyPoet.com called "Turn, Turn." I mean, it's like against the world. So I turned, but the world didn't turn. World don't have to turn. You see, if I need to make changes, I need to look what can actually change with me. I didn't look. I just changed. I just said, here you go, man. I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I'm done with this. But all the things which I said, I'm done with. And they were like, what the heck are you talking about? They didn't know. I have the gig. They don't care. The real life events, people and places and things that are sitting there, in all those things, none of these changes really affected them, because nothing told them that when I am changing, they are supposed to change. Now the problem is there are a lot of things that just doesn't fit into my 180-degree turn. So I know what is not working. So those things I need to put back together. It sounds crazy as it seems, but that happens in a person's life, especially when that person is alone. Recently a talk came up from my own brother, what about you? Okay, and here is a contradiction of these things which is not solved yet. Nothing was solved. He told me, your problem is you change things all by yourself without anybody else. The thing is, maybe you need a person with you. Like, get married, Find a girl, get married. That means when you change, there is another viewpoint directly connecting to your life in there. So I believe that's what he meant, even though we were almost in an argument situation at that time. Well, then afterwards he said, I told, whenever I try to actually say, even, think about marriage with a woman, that woman will diagonally turn against me, or the whole life will fall apart, like, and then I have to gather it all up and bring it back up. So I was like, that is the reality. Then immediately he said, okay, then you should not be seeing any of these, women, so-called, I was like, now there is a contradiction here. See, on one way, the change can happen, the change can happen very easily or very reasonably with a person, with me, like, a wife. But at the same time, when I try to get one, everything else can fall apart. You understand? So, to avoid everything falling apart, it's better not to talk to, even think about marrying a girl or think about having a serious relationship with a girl. That is one side. But if that is there, then this whole thing can work well. How do you find a solution for this? Yeah, we actually ended up saying, okay, maybe we should not be even talking about this. That is the idea of another poem. The absolute confusion. I'm going to try to make some changes which I can, which I have some control over, which I believe, and I don't know how it all going to end. I hope it is not like last year, where things started rolling and September. There was a good period of time, and by October 15th, everything changed. That change that happened on October 15th is impacting even now. This is where things are. But like Harry Kim said, in his poem, which I actually posted, in one of my poem blogs, he said, I broke my heart for you, my dear, and I wept very many unmanly tears. But when I lay awake in this place, I lay awake, I know how many wonderful poems this would make. So there is a good side to this. I write. That's how I relieve my stress. That's why many people actually see me in the dire straits and they say, you don't look stressed, you look happy. I said, I'm always happy. That's why I just said, I'm happy. Why am I happy after going through all this? Because I'm not saying I don't care, I care. But the thing is, there is a choice I always have. I can either go down with this or I can go ahead with this. I chose to go ahead with this. You all have a fantastic evening, okay? And I think there should be a credit part in this that should be coming, because otherwise you will not see the end of it. Okay, let me see if I can do something about it. Okay, I'm going to bring you a blank screen and I'm going to end it there. Okay, blank screen. Ding, done and gone. Happy birthday to you, whoever you are. Who are celebrating happy birthdays, happy birthday to you. Okay, have a fantastic evening, everyone. I am going to finish my show.